Folks, this is like a travel chat slash denim hunting episode slash review. So welcome once again onto the Vintage Future, and I want to talk about my Warehouse 1001 XX DD47 Duck Digger 1947 jeans. Why did I get these jeans recently? Well, it was due. It was time. I completed a year in my flatheads, and I'm still wearing those all the time. But it was like, okay, it's time to get the next pair. And so what do I want? Well, I'm getting more into repro denim, so I wanted something that's much more reproduction than I've ever had before. You know, I've had sugarcane 1947s, and this time I really wanted like a true reproduction pair of denim. So that was one thing. Another thing is Warehouse. I really wanted to try Warehouse. A lot of people say Warehouse is great, so I wanted to do that. And also, I had some very specific fit dimensions that I was looking for. I've had enough straight fit denim now to where I kind of have my sizing dialed. And so I was being very, very picky as I went through all the different brands. I looked at all the usual suspects. I looked at, Full Count and TCB, some more sugarcane, Mr. Freedom. Like, I just went through all these different ones, repro and vintage inspired companies, Worslow, and ultimately it all aligned. The stars aligned with this Warehouse pair, and so that's why I got the pair. Also, this denim is 13.5 ounces, which is the lightest weight denim I've ever had in a pair of jeans before. I have some shirts, scout shirts from Free Note Cloth that are, I believe, a 9-ounce denim, but I've never had jeans in anything lower than 14 ounces, and I was like, okay, what's this 13.5 ounce thing about? Let's see if it makes much of a difference. So that is why I got them. That is currently why I'm loving them. It is now the middle of April, and I got them the very first week of March. Since then, I've worn them 18 times, and I have not washed them at all. But they are unsanforized one wash, so they've already been rinsed once. So most of the shrinkage is gone out. Maybe a little more shrinkage will make itself apparent when I wash them for the first time, but I always machine wash inside out, cold, delicate cycle, and I hang dry. So it shouldn't be much, and there's a little extra room in the jeans, so I'm not worried about them shrinking too much. So let's go over the basic specs first, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so the basic specs are, again, they're by Warehouse. So Warehouse is one of the original Osaka 5. So they're not just a great company that's known for its meticulous detail, but they are one of the original Osaka 5. If you don't know what that is, in the early 90s, basically, there's 5 companies from Osaka, Japan, who kicked off what we're all living in now, the selvedge raw denim revolution. Like, before that, it was hard to find because it kind of died out, and they're the ones that brought it back. They're the ones that got the old shuttle looms, and they started weaving this selvage fabric again and selling it raw and making these vintage inspired or reproduction jeans, and in some cases like just totally new jeans. Those companies are Denim, Studio to Artisan, Full Count, Evisu, and the last one that came out in 1995 was Warehouse, and it was started by twin brothers. I can't remember their names, but twin brothers, and they both used to work, or at least one of them each used to work for Evisu and Full Count, and they started their own company. They're the last of the Osaka 5, so really, really cool. In fact, I thought it would be really nice for somebody, I don't know if I'll do this or not, but for somebody to do something where they get the classic jean from each of the Osaka 5 and kind of do a review on that. That would be really cool. Maybe there's one out there and I haven't seen it yet. Anyways, that's Warehouse. So they're made by Warehouse. They're made in Japan. The next best feature about these is Banner Denim. So these are supposed to be a reproduction denim. So that's the cool thing. A lot of repro jeans, they make all the design reproduction, but the denim itself, the fabric, is like their own fabric. What they were trying to do with this specific fabric is mimic the way a vintage Levi 501 fabric would have been. So evidently what they say is, with this Banner Denim, what it's trying to do is, the vintage Levi denim often had cotton from different sources, and they mixed it all together, and what that did is it made this really irregular feel and pattern. The fabric itself, when you look at it and feel it, it's very irregular and a little bit knotty and stuff, and that's because you've got dissimilar cottons all mixed together. And so in an effort to recreate that same experience, what they did is they took cotton from Tennessee, from Texas, and from Tennessee, Texas, and Arizona. Tennessee, Texas, and Arizona. They run that through a Toyota. That's not Toyota with a T. It's not the car company. Toyota with a D. A Toyota G3, apparently. So I don't know anything about this stuff. I'm just reading all this stuff on like Standard & Strange's website. But yeah, they run that through a Toyota G3 vintage shuttle loom, and out comes this 13.5 ounce unsanforized Banner Denim. Incredible denim, and we'll get more into that later. So that's the first big thing. Other features is it has the vintage V-stitch right at the top button of the fly. That's a vintage detail that you would see on a lot of vintage Levi 501 jeans. It's got iron buttons. It's got hidden rivets. I mean, all the stuff that you would see. If you're familiar with a 1947 Levi 501, it's like arguably the classic 5-pocket that like virtually every jean now is based off of. You could argue it's one of their 50s models or whatever, or an earlier 40s model, but 47 is really when the 501 came into its own of what Americans and pretty much everybody in the world thinks of as the blue jean. That's the 1947 you're thinking of. So if you're familiar with those details, it's got all that. So yeah, it's got the V-stitch at the top of the crotch. It's got the iron buttons, the hidden rivets, and then some of the exposed rivets. The hidden rivets are on the back pockets. The copper exposed rivets are everywhere else. Chain stitched hem. It's got the 5 belt loops like you would normally see. It's got a leather patch, and it's got the Selvage red line ID. Again, to mimic the Levi one, like cone denim from Levi, they had their, like, at the time, proprietary red line Selvage ID, and that's pretty much what you have on these two. And as far as the 5 pockets, of course, you've got the 2 back pockets, the 2 front pockets, and the coin pocket, which make up the 5 pockets. I wanted to get these, as I said, because I wanted repro, and the Duck Digger line from Warehouse is their repro line. Now, obviously, the whole company is a repro company. Everything they do is repro or vintage inspired. So what Duck Digger means, when you see Duck Digger on any of their jeans or anything else, that's the line where they take their reproduction to the next level. They increase the granularity. They increase the magnification. It's where they essentially pour over the jeans, the vintage garment, an actual vintage garment, with a magnifying glass, and they are trying to recreate every little nuance of that vintage garment. That's the Duck Digger line. It's when they get like just maniacal. No, it's they just get psycho about the details on that stuff. So I was really excited to try this. What are the best features of this jean? Well, on the one hand, it's just a basic 47, you know. There's not anything necessarily super special about it. But comparing this to other 47s that I've tried, like the sugarcane, or ones that I've seen or heard of, read about, watched videos on, to me, the best features as far as just design and functionality would be, one, the pattern. I don't know how closely the pattern is based off of an original Levi, but the measurements, for me anyways, are excellent and they look good. Not every straight leg looks good. Like the Sugarcane 47 is also a reproduction of the Levi 1947 501. But when I look at it, I don't like the leg dimensions. I don't love that pattern and the way it looks. It just doesn't look right to me. This looks right and feels right and super comfortable, super functional. The other thing is the denim. Like I said before, the Banner Denim is really, really nice. It's got a lot of texture, a lot of topography, if you will, the irregular yarns, so much character. It's a bit hairy, which I like, but it's not too hairy. Yeah, it's like everything you want in a pair like this. It's everything you want in a chill pair of denim. It hasn't been micromanaged. This fabric has not been micromanaged. It feels very natural, and it's very soft. Some people like really crunchy kind of denim, and this is very soft. Not as soft as Oni's Secret Denim. If you've ever tried that, I've had one or two pairs of those. Not quite like that, but it is very pliable, very soft, very drapey. 13 and a half ounces. That's probably about as low as I would go, because I'm used to like 14 and a half ounce. That's like my sweet spot. 15 ounce I like a lot. Anything between 14 and 15. Sounds like a half ounce doesn't make a lot of difference, but it really does. These are bordering on too lightweight for me. These jeans, I don't totally love how they drape, how they cuff. There's not quite enough structure there for my particular taste. However, the strength of that is, in the summertime, a little bit lighter, a little bit more airy. That's going to be really nice. They're a little bit more comfortable because of that. But I kind of more like personally enjoy a 14, 15 ounce denim. And initially it's a little stiff, but I kind of like that structure. And then as you wear it, it gets really, really soft at that point. And then you have the best of both worlds. That's my thing. So anyways, 13 and a half ounces. No regrets. Super glad I'm trying it. Really, really enjoying it thoroughly. But at the same time, yeah, it's not what I usually would go for. And then the last thing that I think is really great about these is the pockets on the front. So many jeans. This is a huge soapbox of mine. I get quite frustrated. So many jeans have front pockets that are too small. It's hard to get your hands in, and it's hard to get objects in and out of the pockets. And this is absolutely ridiculous and laughable, right? Because this is one of the most high use features on a pair of jeans. So many things on jeans are about the form, the beauty of it, the look, right? But one of the few features that is really there just for function is pockets, especially your front pockets. So if you can't get things in and out of those pockets super easily, what in the world, people, right? And I don't care if it's a vintage garment or not. Like, let's make it usable. Otherwise, why even have it? I've seen this on slim denim a lot in the past when I was more into that, and I just assumed, oh, it's a thinner, it's a trimmer silhouette. It's a thinner fit, slimmer fit, and so they don't have as much room, and so they have to be this way. And then as I learned more about it, I was like, no, they don't have to be this way. Like it's just a pattern. You just make it right, but they don't. And I don't like that, because it really has to do with the dimensions of the opening of that pocket. I don't get it. And then I went over to classic straight fit denim, assuming it would be fine, because like, oh, it's a roomier fit. They're just going to make all the pockets bigger. And they don't. It's so crazy. I can't believe it. Like so many times, like my flatheads, right? Yeah, you can like barely get your hands in the pockets. I've got black sign Vocalion jeans, and the leg is like 10 inches. The rise in the back is 17 inches, you know? Okay, this jean is huge. And guess what? You can barely get your hands in the pockets. Unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. if I get a pair of jeans like that, when I review it, I'm going to give it a hard knock. Like, you lose a point for that. That is a negative critique. Like, you do not get through with me on like reviews if you're going to do that with your jeans. Yeah, I'm not a seamstress or what do you call that? Someone that sews, a tailor. I don't know. But I just, now that I have this pair and I've had Free Note Belfords and a couple other straight fit kind of classic jeans that you can get your hands in those pockets easily, I now know it can be done. No excuse for not doing it. And a lot of these repro companies, I think the excuse they make is like, oh, well, we're reproducing a vintage garment. And it's like, okay. Some of you, like Connor Sewing Factory, maybe the Warehouse Duck Digger line can claim that they, or maybe like TCB, I'm not sure which ones. I know for sure Connor Sewing Factory. Some of these companies can claim that they are like perfectly replicating a vintage garment because they just go all out with every little tiny minutia, right? Most of these reproduction companies, though, are not actually achieving their goal. They are not 100% recreating, replicating a vintage garment. Like, if you start to look at it closely, you realize, like, there's certain dimensions and there's certain aspects and features that are not actually a perfect representation of what was on the vintage garment. They've changed things. So it's like, if you're only going to go 80% of the way anyways, you have no excuse to make no excuse if you make the pockets too small. They need to just be changed so you can use them. Anyways, okay, rant over, but I just think it's absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so these jeans, though, have a great set of front pockets. Easy to get your hands in and out, easy to get objects in and out. The one issue I have with them is actually the pocket bags. They're a little shallow and they feel a little bit thin. Now, I don't need them to be way overdone, like you're wearing some kind of, Carhartt construction pants or whatever, but I've had a lot of jeans now and I know what a robust pocket bag feels like, even if it's really nice. So like, I've had some Tanukis and some Onis, and the pocket bags and those things, they use this like incredibly beautiful fabric. It's like, it's so crazy that they're using that as a pocket bag. It's just absolutely this stunning, luxurious fabric, but it's like kind of thick, and it's gonna hold up pretty well. Even the flatheads, little on the thin side, but still thick. It's got some meat to it. It's got some sustenance to it. Or sustenance. It's got substance to it, With this pair, the Duck Diggers from Warehouse, the fabric feels really thin. So I'm not sure how that's going to hold up. When I do an update review in like a year, I will let you know. And the dimension of that pocket bag is also shallow. Personally, I like, when I put my hand in my front pockets, I like it to go all the way to my actual wrist, But with these, it only goes up to like, I don't know, like here, like where the bottom of your thumb might be. Well, everyone's hand dimensions are different, but I can't keep my hand straight like this in the pocket without it like bottoming out. I have to like curl my fingers if I want my whole hand in there. Super stupid, right? It's like, why do you care, David? Well, it's about me, right? Like, because like when you buy a garment, fighting over who goes first at the stop sign. I love it. When you buy a garment, who's it for? It's for you, right? So even though you can't objectively say there's something wrong with those pocket bags, subjectively, it's for you. And so it should be the way you want it. And that's why some people go custom, right? You can go to, I don't know, Via Piana or something and get a custom jean. A Black Horse Lane, you can get a custom jean. That's why they like that, because you can change these things. Epaulet, I think they make jeans, or maybe they make other garments anyhow. But yeah. And so that's another knock I have on this particular pair of jeans. Other than that, so far 18 wears in, they've just been phenomenal, and I love them. I think this is the first pair where I feel like I have nailed all my criteria, other than the little things that I just mentioned, which ultimately aren't huge. Like the pocket bags, like really, who cares? Like you can replace those later once they wear out. It'll add to the character, all that stuff. But everything else, predominantly dimensions, details, just the nerdiness of like buying from the Osaka 5, the specific fabric that I'm experiencing on this particular pair, like nailed it. Like I've never gotten this close to nailing it. I've never gotten this close to the bullseye with a pair of jeans before. Some other jeans I really enjoy, like I really dig my flatheads. My huge black sign Vocalion jeans are just so cool because of the whole vibe, you know. But really, as far as like a practical everyday wear, like if at this point in my life, if I was going to choose just one pair of jeans, it would have to be this pair. This is the pair that does it all. Even the Belfords from Freno, I really love a lot of things about them. But at the end of the day, they don't offer them in a really cool unsanforized fabric with character. It's all very just emotionless, one-dimensional, lack of character sanforized denim. And yeah, so I'm just not really into it. Yeah, so what about features of beauty? The creative aspect, things like that. My good friend just drove by. What about that stuff? Well, again, it's just a basic plain Jane jean in some ways, so there's not really a whole lot there. But when you start to look closer, there's some things that are pleasing to the eye. This has a great arc. The arcuate on the back of the back pockets, you know, that stitch work you see, I really like it. The other one that I really like is the flathead. That one I really like. Most arcuates I don't like. And I'll put up with the Levi one, but it doesn't really do anything for me either. The gull wing, the famous like, you know, the arches, whatever. It's just like, blah. But that's fine. Like, who cares? It's jeans. But if we're gonna get into the details, I really like these arcs. So that's one thing. Also, just like any good pair of repro or vintage inspired jeans, when you look on the inside, there's like chain stitching all over the place. Super cool. This is another pair where I got the chain stitched hem, but this time I'm not going to hem them. And part of that is because, and I'll go into this more when we talk about the fit and the sizing. But the dimensions of these are so perfect for my particular height because it comes with a 31.5-inch inseam after that first wash that the company gave it. Most denim that I've bought, the inseam is like 33, 34, 36, 37 inches, which for my, like, when I cuff them, I'm usually cuffing up to like about 29. 30 at the lowest, which means 31.5-inch inseam is absolutely perfect for my 5'10", 29, 30-inch leg height inseam, you know? So that's really cool. So the roping, I guess, is where I'm going with that because I'm still talking about aesthetics here. The roping is going to be insane. It's going to be awesome because you can already see, as you look around the waistband, as you look around the pockets, as you look around the hem, the inseam and the outseam, you can just see a lot of puckering already because a lot of these, well, it shrunk for one, it's unsanforized, but as it shrinks because of that chain stitch and stuff, that chain stitch really like pulls from the two different directions and makes this puckering thing happen. So that's the beauty that I already see, and it's just going to get better and better and better. So that's really the beauty of the things, because after all, with denim, the beauty is the basic stuff, right? The beauty is in the fabric and the stitches that hold that fabric together and the rivets, right? Like, that's what's going to do the beauty. We wear these so that they fade. With, you know, a crazy design, that's cool and all, but I feel like you're almost like distracting from the main point. Like, the star of the show is the fabric itself and what the stitching is doing to that fabric. So yeah, if you put an insane arcuate and all these bright colored patches and stuff everywhere. Totally valid. Like if that's what you enjoy, absolutely wear that. Because if it's fun, do it. But I just think that kind of misses the point of raw denim, you know? So that's kind of how I feel about that. All right, so what about fit and sizing? So I got a size 33. I'll post a sizing chart right here, but just off my head as I'm remembering, it's like about a 12-inch front rise, about a 15, almost 16-inch back rise. The thigh is about 12 inches. The knee is about 9 inches, and the hem at 31.5 inches is about 8.75 inches. So for me, perfection. So good. And that's a size 33. My waist fluctuates between like a 32 and well, not 30, quite a 32. 32 and a half and 33, let's say that. So that's perfect because, you know, these stretch out, and they've already been stretching out. The waistband's going to end up at like 33 and a half or something like that. Heck, even if it was 34, I can use a belt. I tuck my shirt like about half the time. So, you know, it's all good. The bleed from this denim, I think because it's a one wash, hasn't been so bad. Like, I like a little bit of crocking, but, you know, sometimes you get a pair of jeans and you're like, oh my gosh, these things are bleeding everywhere. And you're afraid to wear your white shirts and stuff. I'm always cautious at the beginning about doing that kind of stuff, and I realized that this doesn't have a bad bleed. So I have been able to wear some white t-shirts and actually a nice white Kamakura from a good friend of mine. I really appreciated that, man. Super special shirt. The Kamakura white OCBD with no fear of getting any crocking on anything. That indigo isn't ruining any of my clothes. So just so you know. And obviously after I do my first wash, after that initial factory wash that they gave it, then I don't think I'll have any problems with denim bleed of any kind. So yeah, I'll see some crocking on my boots. I'll see some crocking like on the back of a belt that's been like on the jeans rubbing hard all day, but like I haven't had any issues of indigo transfer onto garments. So yeah, I'm a thin, like lanky, skinny kind of guy, and so that size 33, perfect sizing. I size off the waist. That's typically how I do it. I size off the waist. If you're bigger, I hear, like you have muscular thighs or just larger thighs or whatever, maybe bigger bone structure or something like that, you know, you're probably going to want to size for your thigh. And then the waist might have some issues, but you could try to like hot shrink the waist, or you could just wear a belt, or, you know, you can always get them tailored, like have them just take a little bit out of the waist. It shouldn't be too big a deal as long as you're not taking like 4 inches out, you know. So yeah, I'd say they fit really well, and I have zero issues with me. So like if you have the body type that I have, skinny, lanky, slim, toothpick person, the data point you'll want to know is like, for me, these sit right between, like, okay, let's put it this way. Jeans that are tighter on people like us look better because you don't have all this there's like extra fabric hanging out everywhere. So a slim denim often can look good. And I'm mainly talking about the top block. You don't have like the butt pucker, all the pooching out fabric, like that's not being used when you're standing up straight. But the problem with that is they are not very comfortable, at least not to me. I need a higher rise. I need some ballroom. Like I wear these to use them, not to look good primarily. I want them to look good, but function needs to be there. So there's that. But if you go to the other extreme, where it's like super comfy and baggy, then it's baggy. It looks terrible. And like guys like us look tiny enough as it is. You don't want to accentuate that by like wearing like huge oversized baggy clothes, right? And it just looks dumb. Like the whole butt pucker thing, the diaper butt, it's like all this extra fabric just hanging out. So where I'm going with that is these are right in the middle. It's perfect. It's the perfect balance. There is a tiny bit of that pucker in the seat. Just a tiny bit of pucker on the side of the thighs. If it's not being used, like right now I'm seated obviously because I'm driving. So that's being used up, right? My seat is filling that seat and my thighs are filling the thigh of the jean. But you stand up straight and yeah, you do have a little bit of that stuff flapping in the wind. But it's not too much. So it's like it's just enough to be comfortable but still look good. That's what I'm trying to say. So, yeah. Really enjoying these jeans. There's probably nothing else I could say about them. I just wanted to show you these before I wear them for a year and then give a quote-unquote real review. So yeah, this is just introducing these to the world, saying that this is how my last denim hunt went. They are easy to style. They go with everything. They're versatile. And I think they're going to hold up really well. But we'll see. We'll see how they hold up. I don't actually know. They probably say on the thing that they don't actually know. I don't actually know like what kind of thread it is, if it's cotton or poly. But yeah, we'll see how they hold up. If you want a pair of these, this is like, can't believe I forgot this. The price, dude. That is one of the biggest things. So having a great pair of jeans is great. Is great, but sometimes guys will pay like, in my opinion, way too much. Like, it's like $500 for a pair of jeans. It's like, oh, dude. Like, I'll pay that for a pair of boots if they're, really nice or something. But like, jeans, oof. I don't know, man. But that's just me. But when you look at these and you see that they're like $270 or something like that. They probably fluctuate depending on who you buy them from. They're like $270. Like, what? This is so great. So having fantastic jeans is one thing. Being able to buy those for something that, in my opinion, these should cost $100 more. That's really how I feel. Like these should cost like $370, but they cost like $270. That's a deal. And so yeah, if you want some of these, I mean, they have these or like things like them from Warehouse at a lot of places. The Usual Suspects, Standard and Strange. I think Franklin and Poe, James Dant Purveyors. So yeah, anyhow, lots of places you can get these things. Really, really easy to come by. A fantastic pair of denim. So, okay. Well, I'm going to get back to wearing these, get back to my life. But thanks for watching. I hope it helped. And if you have any questions, reach out in the comments below as usual. I should probably say I started a Patreon. So if you want to support future content, find me on Patreon, link below. I also started doing some affiliate work. But this is very much a hobby for me. It's not a business. It's not about the money. I'm not trying to compromise my views. I don't get paid to say a certain thing a certain way. I say what I want to say. I say my true perspective. And I review brands that don't have affiliate links all the time. But if there happens to be an affiliate link for a brand that I'm already way into, then I'll use the affiliate link. And I greatly appreciate if you click the link to purchase, because I get a little from there. And just some background on that, I'm using a third-party agency called Kotoku. Great people. Nick, the owner and the guy who started it, he is the guy that originally started Heddles. He's actually a really good guy, even if you hate Heddles. But that's nice because it insulates me from the companies, right? So I'm not affiliating with the company itself, so that there's less less pull for them to like try to push on me and say, oh, we want you to say this or whatever. It's like chill, because he's the insulator. Kotoku's the insulator. So I just like review stuff I want to review. Most of the time there's not an affiliate link. Like with these, there's not. So whatever. But with a lot of other things, there will be an affiliate link, so I'll put that in there, but it's all still really honest. Anyways, so that's that. Personally, I get so bored, so tired. I hate it when people ask you to like and subscribe and stuff, because I'm kind of like, maybe I'm just a weirdo, but I'm like, if they like your content, they're going to like and subscribe. You don't need to constantly ask for that. Just stop convoluting your video with all this asking. So that's why you've never seen me ask ever before, and it's on this one. And I might do it from time to time. I don't know, like every 7th video or something. I figured I'd just slide this in here, but yeah, it's not like I'm going to be doing this all the time. But I wanted to take this quick opportunity. So yeah, that's the deal. Let your jeans take you to places more important than the jeans themselves. We'll catch you on the next video.